Alright guys, what's going on? We've got the 7th war of season 26 here, and today 4Loki is going to be facing the Matrix. I am familiar with this alliance. We've played them before. I think that they had like a season where they were docked and then they kind of cleaned up. I'm not really sure, but I know that we have played them before. And this is actually going to be a really short war for me. I'm only going to have 2 fights. I let Taters know like a week in advance that I was going to be unavailable for most of this war. So yeah, just looking around at their map. Not a whole lot here that is new or interesting. This is just kind of the state of war now. Everything's the same. Doesn't really matter who's on what node. You're going to be using like roughly the same few champions for each fight or each node. There's just not a ton of... If there is complexity to it, a lot of that is actually... a lot of that is taken away by like how stale it is. So probably the reason that I'm kind of late. I'm not super excited about the way that war is right now. We're actually not bringing in Omega Red today. We're bringing in Doom, Mr. Fantastic, and Heimdall. So I'm just sharing energy in section 1, and then here, this is when I was able to fight. This is going to be a Spider-Man, and you can see up at the top there that I actually took my offensive mastery points out. In retrospect, that was probably a mistake. It was unnecessary. I'm using Doom for this fight. So I'm just going to be like primarily heavying, but you're going to see that strategy going in is actually a bit of a mistake. So kind of double mistake here. I didn't ask for any sort of like guidance on this fight like I normally would. I was just like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing here. And you can see that with the Mr. Fantastic pre-fight, every time that I heavy, I'm putting an armor break on this guy, and he has willpower, so he's healing quite a bit. So my initial plan was, okay, like heavies, special ones, you know, avoid triggering rage as much as possible. If I do by accident, I can nullify furies, I can power steal, it should save me some time. That plan is going to fail miserably. So another special one here. You can see we're about a minute in. Looks like I've done about 9% damage here. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to say at this point. I think everyone can see the mistake that I'm continuing to make. And honestly, timing out is never really something that's on my radar because I'm used to using such a high DPS champion. In Omega Red, where the fights are usually over in like 30 seconds. So I never really pay a ton of attention to the clock. I'm just not used to having to do that. Pretty soon here I'm gonna realize my mistake. So I'm a minute and a half in. He is above 80%. He's at 81% right now. Again, just healing 127 per tick from that armor break. So here I push myself up to a special 2, parry him, throw the special 2, and that's actually going to do some pretty good damage. So I guess this was the time that I realized that my strategy had not been working, and it was probably a good thing that I didn't boost my attack too much, and that I took my mastery points out, because otherwise that special 2 might be triggering rage even without the fury. Usually people put champions on this node with like smaller health pools, so a lot of times it'll be like a hit monkey, or I feel like a lot of skill champions are like glass cannons, so I feel like a lot of times you see skill champions here, which also makes it a little bit riskier to use somebody like Archangel. So you can see that's 2 times now that I've hesitated on that heavy attack. And yeah, a little bit over halfway through this fight. He's at 57% still. So just literally going to throw special 2s. I'll throw a special 1 if I get close to pushing him to a special 2, or if he like gets a fury or something like that. But aside from that, I'm gonna stick to the new plan here. And yeah, so again, this is just gonna be a 2-fight war for me. But the length of this fight is probably about as long as if I had taken like 6 fights or something with Omega Red, so almost done, guys. Probably should have sped this up. This is actually my second time recording this, so I knew that I should have sped it up. Okay, go ahead and parry, another special 2. And yeah, you guys get the gist. So I think at one point during this fight, I thought about like doom cycling him, just doom cycling him the normal way, and trying to like nullify his special ones, push him above like a certain threshold of power. But if I was in the process of trying to do that and he evaded or something, like especially after I threw a special 3, probably would have died. So alright, here we go. One more special 2 should do it. Okay, finally that fight's over. You can see we had about like 45 seconds left to finish it. So if I hadn't realized when I did that what I was doing wasn't working, could have been a timeout, and then I would have lost my streak. So I'm gonna throw 1 potion into Doom here and go into this Arcus fight. So I've taken a fight similar to this before. I've like on the old mini boss, the old map, the mini boss with the enhanced special 2 and power gain. I would take him with Doom sometimes. And even though I know it's a pretty safe fight, it always feels dangerous. Like it starts to feel like it's getting out of control at a certain point, and it kind of is getting out of control at a certain point. Because Doom can't power steal from this guy. So here, I'm gonna push myself to a special 3, and you're gonna see I'm going to go into Doom Cycle him. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna be gaining a ton of power from nullifying his power gains. And you just kind of have to like YOLO this fight. That's the best way that I've found to do it. So medium, medium, light, 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 medium, medium. Push myself above a bar of power. Throw my special 2, throw my special 1. It's gonna be unblockable. And the incinerates do all of the work. So you just don't want to let him throw that special 3. I did have like a special 3 defense boost on just in case, but I wanted to make sure that he didn't have any prowess if he threw it. So yeah, that was, again, that was the end of my war. This was a few wars ago. I'm not sure exactly what my streak was at the end of this war, but I only added 2 fights to it. We did actually end up losing this war. You can see it was pretty close. It was 5-7. And yeah, this just isn't our season. You know, as an alliance, just a couple, all it takes again is a couple mistakes, and you're gonna lose these wars. So that's all I've got for this one. I'm working on the other 2 wars now. I think I'm 2 wars behind, so I'm working on the other 2 wars like at the same time that I'm working on this one, so they should be up pretty soon. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.